Today, we are going to recap a 2017 Korean crime thriller called Memoir of a Murderer. A memoir of a serial killer was found, and it reveals the details of the crime. Spoilers ahead. Thank you for tuning in, and have a great time. The film unfolds with Byung-soo, who suffers from Alzheimer, struggling to recall his home address. His frequent visits to the police station forge an unexpected friendship with a cop named Officer Man. His daughter Eun-hee intervenes by retrieving her father from the station. They went to go eat, and she gives him a voice recorder, so he could record his activities to help him remember. She also gives him a necklace with his address inscribed on it, hoping he can find his way home when he forgets. 3 months ago, the doctor informed him that he had Alzheimer. The doctor also finds out about his head surgery in the past, which might be the cause of his Alzheimer. It turns out that he was in a car accident 17 years ago that damaged his head. As Eun-hee readies herself for a friend's birthday celebration, a news report detailing the murder of a young girl in the nearby town grips their attention. Byung-soo, rattled by the news, hurries to inspect his white shoes in the cupboard. Desperate to protect Eun-hee from potential danger, he attempts to stop her from going out, but she heads out anyway. Meanwhile, Byung-soo begins chronicling his life story on his laptop, delving into memories that intertwine with the unfolding events. In 1971, Byung-soo begins his journal with a chilling entry. Returning home, he stumbles upon a harrowing scene: his sister and mother cowering in a corner, his father sleeping on a white shoe as a pillow. The telltale signs of another brutal beating. Convinced he's next, Byung-soo grabs the shoe, waking his father, who erupts in rage. The ensuing beating propels Byung-soo to a breaking point, resulting in a fatal act of self-defense. Haunted by the incident, Byung-soo's descent into darkness unfolds. He buries his father's body in the bamboo grove, awaiting the authorities, only to realize society cares little for the likes of his abusive father. In a quest for twisted justice, he begins a spree, targeting those he deems equally wicked: a brutal seafood merchant, a heartless woman who sacrifices her dog, a violent alcoholic, and a ruthless loan shark. Byung-soo justifies his actions as a necessary purge to cleanse society, burying his victims in his bamboo grove. In his present life as a veterinarian, Byung-soo finds solace in saving animal lives, a stark contrast to his dark past. One day, Byung-soo forgets to give medicine to a sick cat, and sadly, the cat doesn't make it. Filled with regret, he decides to retire from his job as a veterinarian. Now attending a poetry class, Byung-soo listens as his instructor recites a poem he wrote about murders. He's annoyed and contemplates killing the instructor. In the class, a woman named Jo finds him attractive. After class, she chases after him to tell him she appreciates the metaphor in his poem. He shocks her by revealing it's not metaphorical but based on his own experiences. She laughs, thinking it's a joke. In Byung-soo's thoughts, the idea of murdering her surfaces. Amidst this, he recalls his final victim 17 years ago, a woman, yet can't remember the reason why he ended her. After burying her in his bamboo grove, he got into a car accident and injured his head. In the present, an unidentified assailant strangles a woman. The small town is shocked by 2 young women brutally murdered. Byung-soo is perplexed and wonders if he committed the murders. While returning from the bamboo grove, where he was checking for potential new burial sites, Byung-soo collided with another car. He notices a bloody bag in the popped-open trunk and collects the blood on his handkerchief. The car's driver claims it is a deer's corpse and drives away without exchanging contact information. Byung-soo suspects he is the killer and took notes of the event. He goes to his clinic and observes the blood under a microscope and confirms it's human. He gets worried for his daughter and anonymously calls the police to report the encounter. The tip is considered a prank, as the car's driver is a policeman named Min, who anonymously calls him to tell him that the trunk only carries a deer. He goes to the foggy road to investigate. He knows how a killer thinks since he is one. He speculates that the killer will dump the body on the lake at the end of the road. When he surveys the lake, he finds a woman's body and he anonymously calls the police about the location. Min visits Byung-soo's veterinary clinic, but it's closed. He encounters Eun-hee and she informs him that the clinic is closed cause her father is sick. Meanwhile, Byung-soo asks Officer Man for a favor to investigate the white car. Man takes the information and jokes with him. During the night, Eun-hee is walking alone. Min passes through and offers her a ride towards, and she agrees. At home, Byung-soo anxiously waits for his daughter to come home. Due to his deranged mind, he chokes her, but it turns out that he is hallucinating and realizes it's his daughter. The following day, Byung-soo is thinking of going to a nursing home since his condition is getting worse, but Eun-hee insists on taking care of him. Later, he visits his sister and informs her about his dementia while eating sushi. He left his sushi on the bench while he went to his poetry class. After his poetry classes, Jo jumps into his car. He tries to avoid her, but she is very persistent. Jo asks him about things he likes. He answers that he likes killing. He sees his daughter with Min and confronts them. She introduces him as her boyfriend, and Byung-soo finds him familiar, but he can't seem to recognize him. He left shortly afterwards, and during the car ride, he forgot who Jo was. He left stranded because he thought she was a stranger. Meanwhile, Min reveals to Eun-hee that he already encounters Byung-soo in the foggy road. She reveals to him that Byung-soo has dementia and tells him about his bamboo grove. Byung-soo meets Officer Man, and they talk about the murders cases 17 years ago. When Officer Man is about to drive off, he gave him the car information Byung-soo asked for and tells him the car belongs to a police officer named Min. Now he remembers about the crash and is called to the police. He starts suspecting Officer Min for the recent murders of 2 women. He gets worried for his daughter and calls her. She tells him that she is in the cinema with Min. He gets worried and rushes towards the cinema and then forgets why he is there. He ends up watching the movie, laughing at every funny scene and crying at the end of the movie. As he wonders why he is crying and remembers that he went there to find his daughter, he receives a call from Eun-hee who's at home, so he rushes home and angrily insists that she stop seeing Min since he's the killer. Min told her that he suspects Byung-soo is the killer, but she doesn't believe it. The following day, Byung-soo asks Officer Man to test the blood sample from Min's car to confirm if it's human. The results will take a week. Later, when he picks up Eun-hee from her work, he sees her with Min again. He immediately drags her to the car and tells Min to leave her alone. In the car, Eun-hee keeps defending Min. She thinks that he is a good person, but Byung-soo tells her to wait for a week after the blood test result. After that, he spies on Min at his house with plans to kill him, but he lost his memories again and forgets about his plan. A few days later, Min and Eun-hee announce their marriage plans. He is even supportive of their marriage, but his memories return and he resumes his murderous plan for Min. Since his daughter was present, he did not proceed with the plan. After Min left, he notices red marks on Eun-hee's neck. He thought it was Min who caused it, but Eun-hee revealed it was him who did it. He forgot he strangled her during his memory loss. In fear that he might kill Eun-hee, he puts her picture in his necklace as a reminder. Later, Officer Man reveals to him the blood test result is from an animal rather than a human. The result leaves him confused as he starts wondering if the recent events were real or just hallucinations, and if he was responsible rather than Min. He visits his sister, and she comforts him by saying that maybe it's a good thing that he is forgetting those painful memories, and maybe he will be that sweet, gentle boy again like when they were kids. Byung-soo wakes up with his hands and feet tied up and sees Min typing on his journal laptop. He tries to free himself, but Min tells him that if he takes the blame for his crime, he will spare his daughter. Byung-soo begs Min to kill him instead of his daughter, and Min mentions he will kill Jo. Min injects him with something and Byung-soo falls unconscious. Upon waking up, he sends his daughter in a taxi to his sister's place. He starts his murderous plan for Min, and he follows him to an old house where he finds a camcorder with footage of Jo begging for her life. The following day, he shows the footage to Officer Man to prove that Min is the killer. It turns out, Min has an alibi. They then suspect that Byung-soo killed Jo, as her last call she received was from him. Min asks where is Eun-hee, as he couldn't contact her for a few days. He said Eun-hee is staying with his sister, but Min mentions that Eun-hee revealed that her aunt passed away at a young age. This surprised Byung-soo, so he calls his sister but can't locate her contact information on his phone. He knows he just visited his sister, so he immediately drives over there. When he arrives at her place, he is shocked to find nothing but an old building and the sushi he left on the bench. His memory returns, and it's revealed she'd taken her own life due to the trauma of him killing their father. At this moment, he questions his sanity again and starts to think that he murdered Jo and Eun-hee. While driving, he remembers that his final victim was his wife, who cheated on him. Before he ended her, she begs him to spare Eun-hee. He asked why he would kill his own daughter, and he realized that she's not his biological daughter. After he buried his wife in the bamboo grove, he drove back home to take his daughter's life, but he got into an accident. He suffered from brain damage, and it caused his Alzheimer. He managed to make it back home and attempted to murder Eun-hee, but stopped as he suddenly forgot everything. Since then, he just lived with Eun-hee, thinking that she is his real daughter. As he remembers it, he starts to believe that he murdered Eun-hee. As he listens to the recordings of his memories, he suddenly feels guilty and remorse. He tries to take his own life but stops when he hears Min confessing that he is a murderer in his recorder. In the meantime, Min tells Officer Man that they need to arrest Byung-soo when he presents evidence of Byung-soo's fingerprint on the camcorder. When the officers try to arrest Byung-soo, he beats them down. Then he tries to remember where Eun-hee is until he realizes that he unknowingly gave her to Min, thinking he's a taxi driver. He calls Officer Man and plays the tape recording where Min confesses to being the killer and to prove that Min is holding his daughter hostage. Officer Man secretly follows Min as he drives home. There he sneaks towards the window and overhears Min convincing Eun-hee that her dad is a killer. His phone rings and is Byung-soo, and he informs him he found Eun-hee. Suddenly, Min appears behind him and strangles him. Eun-hee sees it, quickly runs away, but Min catches her outside. After that, while she is tied up, Min shows his damaged head to her. He revealed his mother abused him and smashed his head with an iron when he was a kid, turning him into a killer. While he was talking, Eun-hee escaped and she disappeared when he turns around. He goes to his car to look for her and Byung-soo arrives and hits his car, while Byung-soo proceeds inside. He finds her hiding. His Alzheimer strikes again, making him forget everything. When Min goes inside and asks him where she is, he points out where she is hiding. Min strangles him, but Eun-hee shouts "Dad," making him remember. He fights back using his gun, but he misses and is beaten down. Eun-hee tries to help, but of no use. After Min beats him into submission, he decides to kill Eun-hee in front of him. Out of desperation, he gathers up all his strength to fight off Min and repeatedly stabs him. The scene horrifies Eun-hee as she sees a monster in him and made her realize that he is indeed a serial killer. He reveals that he's not her biological father, so she won't be like him. The police finally arrives and arrest Byung-soo, and the paramedics take the body of Min. Byung-soo later was in a hospital where he was informed that his case was dropped because it expired and also because he has dementia. Eun-hee listens to his last recording. She realizes that everything he'd done was to protect her, so she forgives him and visit him in prison. His Alzheimer gotten worse, and he knows she was his sister. Although devastated that her own father don't recognize her, she still take care of him. In the last scene, we see Byung-soo injects himself, and it blacks out to another scene with him walking out of a tunnel. At the other end, Min appears in front of him. In the end, thinking that his memories are unreliable, he tells himself, "Never trust your memory." Min is still alive, leaving the viewer wondering, was Min the actual killer or him? That's the end of this recap. Thanks for watching and staying till the end. Please subscribe, share, and like. See you at the next one.